All right, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I was here, and today we have special guests. We have Entropy Vanguard, and then we also have Intex, the Magnolia Loop guy. And yeah, it's been a while since I met you guys. I left Toronto in like 3 months ago, and I'm staying in Indonesia now. So today we're gonna discuss about the premium state.
Yeah,
It's
I
been a
mean,
while.
Intex, you topped premium the most recent out of the three of us. So, what are your thoughts on this targeted ban list? I want to say
Oh yeah, because the skeleton was limited. Is that right?
Navigator. Yeah.
Navigator, yeah.
I won't go too in depth right now, as this is just an introduction.
Yeah.
But yes, the
Uh,
navigator ban was most definitely targeted towards certain individuals who I will not name. Yeah, I'm the Magnolia Loop player, or creator. Hello, and I'm so sorry for bringing the abomination that is infinite loops
How
back
dare
into the
you?
premium.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
surprised you were able to make it work. I thought we started off with Gridora loop when we're decking out, and we ended up with Magnolia loop. That's crazy.
It's the main thing was reminding me that Bonus Body exists as a card.
Yeah.
Forgot that card existed. I was just hoping
Mm,
to find something to call two cards because Grand Blue has
yeah.
several different ways of breaking the clan as long as we can call two cards off of one
Yeah.
call or being able to draw two cards off of one call. But
Yeah.
That's why they hit Pot of Greed in
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh.
crazy.
Well,
Oh,
turns out
great,
one card
bro.
into
Photo.
two card is pretty good.
yep, and
The
Yeah.
+2.
yes, but uh, premium right now has been fine. But how about you, Entropy? How do you feel about premium right now?
Yeah. What do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I played premium for Worlds last year, and I got a lot of help
Mm,
from both of you. But a lot of
mm,
it is obviously with Intex. So I kind of hit the
mm,
list that I played because unfortunately I bubbled out ninth. But I did
mm,
play Flanger OTK, which I don't think is that viable anymore. But it also hinged
mm,
on using the Navigator to Turbo Mill, and then set up
mm.
the reverse stack, very similar to Fenrir actually.
Fire
So
loop.
this whole deal is all Bowen. I
Mhm,
think overall the ban list is in the right direction, but
mm,
I was pretty surprised that they didn't do as much as I personally expected. I feel like
yeah.
overall that seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, I feel like the ban list needs to be more. For example, we need to get like maybe GB8, Hall Heart 8, or something like Fenrir loops. I feel like they can do more. But when I compare it to maybe other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, I like most of us maybe come from Yu-Gi-Oh. I did, and I feel like I appreciate how they still like they give us some ban list. It's not the best ban list, but it changed a little bit part like where they started hitting the loops. Although the GB8 Dual Paladin is still around, um, the OT is still around. Although I love OT in Premium, we don't talk about it.
I wonder
But
why.
Darth Vader. Yeah, I feel like they could touch a little bit more. Does the navigator hit actually hit your deck though? In text.
Okay, so about the navigator hit, I think the navigator was definitely a hit that was required, but
Mm,
unfortunately, the deck, like the navigator hit, doesn't actually do anything to the Magnolia Loop variant of Grand Blue. The
mm,
other variants, the Flanger OTK, some other infinites that we will not name, unfortunately, those ones have been hit pretty hard with Navigator, where they're not the most feasible to handle on turn 3.
mm,
But unfortunately,
mm,
Magnolia is the one deck where uh, we will switch the stride that we go into. So no longer will we go into
mm,
Bartholomew, rather we will go into Big Obadiah, so it's slightly more livable. However, you're still looking at 12 to 14 attacks on that turn, and depending on the variant that people are playing, like if you do face myself, you will be facing
mm,
the Flanger OTK variant, which is uh, good luck. You're staring down a 4 crit Flanger attacking you 3 times, in addition to attacking 12 times in a turn.
mm.
Not the most easy to survive, but definitely livable if you're lucky.
Definitely, Flanger is still pretty scary, especially with the OT around, right?
Yeah, if you provided the OT and you just stack crits during the
Mm.
main phase onto Flanger, then your
Yeah.
opponent suddenly has to deal with a no Sentinel Flanger with infinite power, and it's not the easiest to guard.
Not the easiest is crazy, man. I think we had this conversation pretty recently as well. I think
Yeah.
after you topped, the
Mm.
problem with the deck is that there's a lot of cards that are pretty unfair when you match it together.
Yes.
Mm.
And the funniest part is that a lot of these cards are hit in other formats, but for some reason not hit in premium. For example, Sleeve Tugging Bell is hit in standard, but not in premium, I believe. And then you have
Yeah.
cards like Flanger that's hit in V premium, but not in premium for some reason.
My deck is more banned in the other formats than it is in premium, which is crazy to say. So one thing I do want to mention about Bell is that I don't know how it managed to dodge the ban list when Bell's part of an infinite loop in two different clans. It's an infinite loop in Grand
Mm.
Blue, but it's also an infinite loop in Mega Colony. And similarly, Bonus Body
Mm.
causes an infinite loop both in Grand Blue and in Great
Mega
Nature.
Colony. Oh, Great
Uh,
Nature.
Bonus Body
Good
causes
nature,
an
yeah.
infinite loop in Great Nature. It's Magnolia
Mm.
Mask, which has an infinite loop in both Grand Blue and in Mega Colony.
Magnolia Mask 2 ready. After I was thinking, should we like implement the right deck to premium?
Hard no from me. The main thing with Premium is that there's still some variance in the early game and how it's played out, and there's a lot of skill involved with
Mm.
understanding when to push your opponent and when to hold back,
Mm.
depending on the cards are dealt with, what your read is on your opponent's
Mm.
hand, and the read on your opponent's deck. The problem with the ride deck
Yeah.
is that they can guarantee the ride up, which does open up the
Mm.
flexibility of deck building, but allows decks, especially combo decks such as Magnolia, to
Yeah.
suddenly become way more degenerate, as they can either put
Mm.
the specific combo pieces they need to
Mm.
keep in drop zone or in bind zone or wherever in the right deck, so
Mm.
such that it never goes into deck, and you don't have to worry about it ever going into damage, or you can
Yeah.
just effectively play you can play your perfect ride if you're playing a completely fair deck. Like for example, you're playing Narukami
Lombard.
Ride Skip or Grand
Or oh,
Blue.
okay. No,
Grand Blue, you can put Column Bard, but Narukami Ride Skip, you put your normal starter.
Mm.
You put any grade one
Yeah.
because it doesn't actually matter. And then you play
Mm.
your Zuiton in grade 2, and you only have to
Mm.
find one card to ride skip.
Okay. I have a proposition. What if we are allowed right deck only D cards? It will
Well, then
solve a problem.
you want to be playing premium then. Like
No,
you
same thing.
basically change the core of the whole.
Yes.
As in the D cards, the ride line has to be D cards only.
Yes. So basically, if you want to get the generator, so it also supports all standard players to promote them to play more premium. It'll be easier for them to actually start playing premium instead of like you have to teach them to write one by one from hand. So basically now you can have Biscotti, Spiral Cutie in the main deck, and you also have a right deck but D cards only. And if you want to play Crest, you need to play the D cards only. What do you guys think? Like it will definitely change. I think it will definitely change the whole meta completely.
I
So
still
you
think
can.
it's too consistent for some decks more than others, and I think they'll need a big adjustment with a card pool to accommodate it.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, and I think it just changes the whole nature of the game. Like standard is
Mhm.
standard because every game is supposed to be more straightforward and simple, which is
Mhm.
why the ride deck exists to basically
Mhm.
handhold players, right? I
Mhm.
don't think there's a lot of variation in which cards you ride up. Like you have the
Yeah.
option to ride up from hand.
Mm.
I want
Yeah.
players to remember that you have
Yeah.
the option. You don't have to use
You
the
have the
ride deck.
options.
But
Yep.
have you ever seen a game where people would do that? Like I have never seen a game where people would do that.
I will.
Yeah, well, top while
It's me.
doing that, and I'll give you a crown. But in premium, I think
True.
the whole point is the flexibility, and what
Yeah.
intex says it's the depth, right? The depth of the gameplay.
Mm.
A lot of the cards in premium G era, V era had Vanguard rearguard skills. So you had to evaluate, which card to ride if you have the choice, and then
Yeah.
if you want to ride up or not, and what kind of base power you want. Like the simple aspects of the game become a lot more apparent in premium because of the choices that you have. While in standard, a lot of it is Vanguard only skills or Rearguard only skills, and then there was no incentive to kind of like mix and match it. So it's a completely different game. I think if you include a ride deck, I think you can include energy, but not the ride deck. Like not that.
Yeah.
So
Just imagining. Sorry.
I just want to put my 2 cents where even if we allowed only D cards, fun fact: Magnolia Loop can play Bell, Bonaspati, and Magnolia in the right deck, and just forego having a good starter.
That's true.
I'm not sure people want to deal with that, especially because Magnolia already is a deck that wants to go second to begin with. So the only thing I'd be losing is the Quick Shield, which is not a lot.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, if we can have like an older players playing D starter or G starter, and then the new players they just do whatever their standard decks can do, and they bring it to premium. That's what I was thinking. But I guess you did bring me a good point in Trophy about the infinite loop and stuff. In text too about the infinite loop balance party and how the game's not balanced. That makes sense. I thought it would be cool idea.
There's another issue as well is if your deck has a right deck, does that mean that you're playing 54 cards in your main deck? And if that's the case,
So,
for decks that don't have right decks, do they only have 50 cards in the main deck?
I was thinking to give more options to players, more like if you want to play the older way of Vanguard, okay, just do a Forerunner for a starter in the main deck, and then if you want to play like the standard version, you should just play with the right deck, however you want to play it in standard. But you might have access to Heal Guardians, G Guardians, and G Zones.
Yeah, so I was thinking more like how D and be implemented to standard and to premium. So beginner players are not that as scary going to premium. Because the problem with people transferring standard to premium is because they're scared that they're completely different game, right? We have Heal Guardians, we have G Guardians, with G Zone, but we don't have a red deck. So I was thinking to make new players to be able to go to premium easier, and then they have access to Heal Guardians, G Zone. I'm not sure yet how the format should go, and yeah, that's what I was saying. Oh my god, no!
Well,
And then the older players.
Oh yeah, you
And the
keep
older,
going first.
right. And then the older players can also play the older way of playing. You can write deck from hand, beast starter, and stuff. They have option to get quick shields too. That's what I was saying before.
I'm gonna chime in here.
the
So you guys all played premium for quite a while. I have been very on and off with the game. So I basically stopped playing G when Zelf Dragons first came in, and even before then, I was playing like very casually and not very frequently, like right after like Legion era. So Strides was not something I was very familiar with. I played standard when I got back to the game, like, and it tried to be competitive like 2022. And Jody knows this. I have no premium experience. I had no plans of playing this degenerate format with a bunch of like OTKs, no life king, whatever. Like I don't want to sit through that, right? And then there was a BRO, and I just picked up a Gridora deck because someone was selling Gridora because people were afraid that it was going to get hit. It did not get hit. And then I somehow topped the first time I was playing. And the reason why I bring this anecdote is because I agree, Jody. I agree that I think having a simpler base game will incentivize players to come in. And I picked up Gridora because Gridora says no to G guards, less to pure calling shenanigans. And it simplified the game state for me where I was playing Vanguard, I understood, and I could do well in. And I feel like, yes, if you have like specific rules to do that, I think it can work. But it'll be a lot of effort for Bushiroad to handle event wise, and I don't know if they're willing to put that work in.
Yeah, it's also intex mentioned about the Banaspati right line. That's actually also crazy when you think about it.
There's a
loops
lot
and
that can
all.
break if you implement the right deck, and unfortunately, I do agree where newer players would be able to bring their standard deck, maybe adjust some things here and there, but would be able to play effectively their standard deck in premium and be easier for them to try to get into the format. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's always the saying where if there's a competition, people are always going to optimize the fun out of the card game or out of the game. And in this
Yeah.
situation, unfortunately, the ride deck would be something that people would be abusing like there's no tomorrow, and it's going to cause a lot of issues.
What if the right deck is fixed like the crest one? Like, for example, if you play Bruce, you need to have all the right line for Diabolos. And then if you play Magnolia, you need to have all the Silverhorn fixed right line, the one on the Vanguard circle. If it doesn't have to say wording Vanguard on it, you cannot put it in the main deck, in the right deck.
That limitation seems very difficult for people to handle.
Oh, you
And
I
think
think just the ride line, like a basic ride line, is not going to be enough for a standard deck to compete with like a decent premium deck. I'm not even talking about like tier 1. I'm talking about like tier
Yeah.
4. Like
Yeah.
an average standard player, right? Goes to
Mhm.
locals, play some, current D, goes like, oh,
Mhm.
Leonor is so much fun. Like I'm playing my new Leonor deck, right? If they bring
Yeah.
that to like a premium locals, first of all, they, maybe they'll have some like stride cards, whatever, but they won't have like draw PGs. They won't have grade 3 heals. They won't have,
Mm.
a lot of these cards that are staple to premium that you don't really
Mm.
think of because they're so basic, right? As a premium player,
Mm.
that just makes a big difference. Like a grade 3 heal guardian is gonna shut down an entire grade 1, grade 2 rush turn from Leonor, and then that's basically it. It's not gonna make a big difference. It might sound.
Especially they need to get the defensive crit, strike crit, and heal guardians. Right? Heal guardian does help salt in my opinion. It slows down the game. I think it's healthy for the game. But yeah, so I was thinking, in order to maintain this game, I think we need to have an internal format as the main format. Because otherwise, these games only go for so long until they eventually implement all the five decks
I
to premium. I'm not sure how.
I actually disagree with that statement. I don't think the eternal format
You don't think
has
so?
to be the main format that's supported.
Mm.
Like for example,
Mm.
look at Pokemon, right? Pokemon only really
Mm.
supports its standard format, the rotating
Mm.
format, and
Mm.
expanded is on the wayside. In fact, there are very little to no expanded tournaments to begin with, and
Mm.
Pokemon's still holding up really strong. Yes, they do have the brand going for them, and
Mm.
they can get a lot of new players in because of kids. But I still think it's okay to focus on standard as a whole, right? Magic does the same, where it focuses more on standard than it does its eternal formats, and it's still, even if right now it's not doing the best, it's still holding up pretty
Mm.
well. And I think that's rather than having to be focused on the eternal format, I think the main thing is more focused on the health of the internal format, right? Uh,
Mm.
because even
Yeah.
if Pokemon doesn't support the eternal format per se, they still make they'll still implement ban lists and things in case there's a degenerate strategy that completely runs over the eternal format. For example,
Mm.
the Dusclops FTK, I believe, was banned in the eternal format, even though there were no tournaments on it. Or in
Mm.
Magic, they still do ban lists for Modern and Legacy and stuff like that because they do care about the health of the format. And I think that's the thing that Bushiroad really needs to take note of, and that they really don't need to do these data-based hits, especially
Mm.
because in the internal format, people are more likely to bring their pet decks rather than the best deck in the room, and
Mm.
which means that maybe one or two people will be bringing the best deck in the room, and then if they top with it, oh look, they topped, but the clan's
Mm.
representation was like super high, and only two people topped with it, so data hits just aren't feasible in these situations.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. I also think if anyone is working off data, you also need to recognize that like there's a bias in the sample size.
Mm.
Like it depends on how far you're looking, but if we're just looking like for worlds and post worlds, because that was the current like the since the last ban list, that's like the amount of time and
Yeah.
the amount of events we have. For premium, we honestly didn't have that many events.
Yeah,
We
unfortunate.
don't have that many events, and we don't have that many players
Results.
that are really actively trying, right? Because half of this post Worlds is BSF, and that's kind of like the chill season. Like to me, that's the chill season, right? Because there's no Worlds invite. Like nobody is really bringing crazy
Yeah.
stuff like Fenrir OTK or Magnolia Loop, except that one guy. You know who he is.
Or shout mail.
And then we have like one or two or three or like I think at most 5 premium events for BCS only so far. So all I'm saying is if we're looking at the whole picture, half of this is more less competitive events. Half
Yeah.
a third of this is like more competitive. And then if we're only looking at a third of these, that's only 5 events, right? So you're not really drilling into a lot. And if you're only using this to parse insights, then that is a little bit of a negligence as well.
Yeah. I agree. Especially on one season where we have to play competitively.
Yeah,
Like on WGP, I heard. I haven't even joined it yet, but WGP has like 4 kind of season. You have to go into it, and then if you qualify it, you go to the bigger one, and eventually go to Worlds. So it's a bit
yeah,
different. I wish we have that kind of a feeling for a tournament.
yeah.
What do you guys think of Angel Later in Premium? Because I watched a video about Jaime with Crow was talking about it. How Angel Later is very toxic, like a Yu-Gi-Oh card type of card. And it is played in the loop, right? You guys are playing with the Flanger, LTK, and the Magnolia. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't promote any interactive way of playing. Do you think Angel Letter should go in trophy or
As
Intex me?
the premier looper in this call, I will say right now, Angel Ladder I think is extremely toxic for the game. I think a lot of
Okay,
clans
yeah,
are very reliant on having interaction to even survive people's kill turns. For example, Kagura,
yeah,
and
yeah.
without with Angel Ladder uh, in the meta, it makes it significantly
Mm,
harder for people to play those decks. And
yeah,
the main thing I really dislike about the Regulus piece is that certain clans have way better ways of searching for the card than others. Like, for
mm,
example, I'm always going to bring this back to Grand Blue as it's the clan I play, but Grand Blue has
mm,
the easiest time finding the Regulus piece, or one of the easiest, as they can just mill it and then use Greed Shade to re-add it back to the hand. Or any of the other, like, 1,000 ways Stoichia has to just add an order back to their hand from drop zone. Because
yeah.
we love Sorga.
That's true.
Yeah, I think it is one of the flaws of the design team with
Mm,
Bushiroad is very standard centric. So if you look
mm,
at Racing Angel Ladder, it's a very good card to have in standard because, well, one, it was a Nui meta, and that deck was like crazy. It was like a year ahead of its time, so you needed a
yeah.
hotfix, and this was like their solution to this. And I think that's fine because there's not as much defensive interaction in standard in D.
Yeah.
So it's pretty it's a fair card. I want to say it's a fair card. It's on par with a lot of the other regular pieces. Like we literally have a regular piece that says draw 2 cards, and it's not even played that much because there's so many
Yeah.
good options, right? But in premium, I think the challenge is that there's not a lot of consciousness in
Mm,
the design because right now the cards they print is very safe. That's why we have a lot of useless bulk, lots of useless commons, lots of useless rares. But back then, cards would say a card rather than a unit card or an order card or a trigger unit. So cards are more specific, which avoids these kind of situations. But these
mm,
regular pieces kind of forgot the specific aspects of it, so it gets
yeah.
abused. And then one more thing is there was a common design idea in V was you would soul blast grade threes. I think there was like specific guard restricts that soul blast grade
Oh
threes.
yeah.
There's specific hand guard restricts, other effects like +10 and crit and sentinel restrict that is requires
Mm,
soul blast grade three because the game for V was incentivizing you to rewrite different grade threes and then try to set up different combos with your imaginary gifts, right?
yeah.
But So that's where Flanger comes in, right? Because it's supposed to be a turn 4 card because you have to find a way to rewrite to get the grade 3 in Soul. Now with Angel Racing Ladder, they put it in the Soul, and then now it's live on turn 3, which is obviously problematic. So I think it's just not being. Well, I don't want to say they're not being safe enough, but they're just not being mindful enough of the
Mindful
entire
with the.
environment.
Yeah. I feel like they need to include Heal Guardian to standard. It will slow down the game a lot, and I think it will be making the game more healthier. But it will
Yeah.
definitely make the game longer though. But the Angel Ladder, yeah, it's to go. I think.
Yeah, like imagine a world where Angel Ladder was a normal order and it just didn't go to Soul. I think some of these OTK decks, at least Flanger, would be one turn slower or would
No,
require more steps. You
I'm
would have to like high roll. You have to go Superior Ride up, and then do it. It's
uh,
just extra work though.
no, I'm so sorry, but unironically, Flanger would not be any slower. You just have to build the deck slightly differently. I had a build originally of my original OTK variant of Flanger didn't actually run Angel Ladder. It used soul charging and stacking grade 3s on top of the deck to get the grade 3 into soul for Flanger.
Damn.
And if done correctly, you
Really?
wouldn't need to. If done correctly, you'd still end up with the same result, but without Angel Ladder. I don't think.
Also,
I do think that Angel Ladder has to go for. As
yeah,
Entropy mentioned, there's a lot of cards that require grade 3s in Soul. A lot of them have been
yeah,
banned at this point that
same.
are extremely toxic. For example, if anyone remembers Nazari, um, or the War Crimes unit, Jamia Congo, Fuzen Congo, like Fuzen Congo is
Yeah.
not banned, but that is a card that is people don't really play it that much as you need to be at 5 damage for the skill to go off. But I've seen that card win games by itself because you just swing Vanguard, you hit double crit, you swing the Fuzen Congo, swings for like 100k, Sentinel Restrict, 3 damage, and your opponent just blows up.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay with the gimmicks. I think like OTT also has similar effects as because of Ishikishima, but it's only for its own clan, right? One specific deck. But if it's Rubatama have options to dominate, and I remember how you both were using Flanger, and then I was trying to use a Heal Guardian to neck 2 crits. It doesn't work. Later is strange.
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately, basically giving cards resist means that Heal Guardians don't work as they have to target or they have to choose the attacking unit. Or
Crazy.
Yeah, the only one that bypasses it is the Grand Blue G Guard because it doesn't choose. I think
yes.
even the Genesis one
Yeah.
chooses, right? So
Yeah, the Genesis one,
can't
the
even do
Pale
that.
Moon one, the DI ones, they all choose, but the Grand Blue one does not choose. It strictly mentions the attacking unit loses crit. In fact, because there's no number on the card too, it doesn't get hit by the ruling update back in February, I believe, where Cho now is considered
Yeah.
a choose rather than a non-targeted effect.
I'm surprised how they also bring D Legion back now to standard. And they're too scared. Maybe like how they did with Angelator. Now they start slowly bringing back old formats, but it's not the same. How they're so scared to make things broken, like how back in the day is. But also at the same time, it restricts a lot of stuff. It doesn't feel right to play it. I feel with brawlers recently and Daikaiser.
Yeah, I mean that's like
Yeah,
part of the problem with it's a challenge with design in Vanguard, right? Because most of
yeah,
your skills are attached on the grade 3 or your Vanguard or your Stride. So when you have a ride deck which guarantees you to that end game, like how do you make it strong but not strong enough? So you have cards like Heart Luru that says if your opponent's grade 3, you get an additional ability, which is Drive +1, right?
yeah,
That's like, okay, so the relationship between going first and going second is not that far off. If you're going second, you have a comeback mechanic, right? And then they printed these one card combos, which we call Elf Knights, where you can play a normal game and you go Elf Knights and it just like gets the entire combo out by one move. And you can't print
yeah.
cards like that if you want to promote like a balanced interaction, right? And that is like I think my gripe with the format right now. It's a lot of hand holding and one card combos. So I think a lot of decks feel very strong because the difference between like a below average player, an average player, and a good player playing the same deck would have a similar experience because the card does everything you need anyways, and you end up with the same board state because the card does it for you. Meanwhile, decks with less hand holding require more piloting, which obviously the experience is starker because a good player can pilot it better and you'll get to that end state better, and a poor player would not get there and they think the deck is bad. So that's why I think there's like right now standard is very standard. Um, that's my thoughts, but I don't know
Yeah.
how you feel about it.
No, I was just gonna comment that I think my biggest gripe with standard is more so that they're trying to be safe, but then they selectively give decks, like they selectively ignore fundamentals of what their design is. For example, they've been very adamant about cards in Dark States and Starkea needing on place from hand effects for their uh for like extra generation of resources. For example,
Mm.
if you look at Philander is on place from hand. Check the top 5 to
Mm.
discard one. Or
Mm.
Deep Lands. If you look at the new Deep Lands Grade 1, I don't remember its name, but it has the effect when placed from hand, look at the top 3 cards and choose
Mm.
one to discard. But then if you look at Heart Luru just says, has the bunny, which just says one placed, look at top 3 to put one into soul. So effectively it's on place,
Yeah.
selectively soul charge 1. Um, and
Mm.
because it's not on place from hand, that's what makes Heart Luru so strong. It's able to spam out this bunny over and over again from soul and effectively thin their deck like there's no tomorrow. Similarly with
Mm.
Elf Knights. Elf Knights isn't even Elf Knights has no CB cost for it, for the on ride effect, but it's ride from hand, search 2 cards, which is significantly stronger than what most decks even have. And there's no cost behind it. You could have 0 CB, use Elf Knights, just thin 2 cards out, and then look your opponent in the eye and say,
Mm.
okay, I'm not going to multi-attack, but I've thinned 2 cards. I'm in a much better spot.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
that's my biggest issue with standard. It does feel really bad because certain decks, or most decks, are just being shafted by the fact that Bushiroad just wants to give one deck the star child kind of treatment.
Yeah, I feel like it's still cool though how they port older decks like MLB. They become 20k base, and then the Overlord DN you get double Persona Ride. That's an interesting thing to support, but problem with Child is just you Spirit Ride to heart, and no, you able to Soul Charge a lot. Elf Knight, I think it's very unfair. They need to have some restriction on that.
Yeah,
The grade 3
yeah, it's like
for second.
it's a game, right? You have to, like, for me, like, good game design is you have to reward good play and good effort, right? So if you think about MLB, the design is cool, but the payoff is cool, but the effort to get there is like quite high. You have to find Blaster Blade, you have to get Blaster Dark, you have to put them all in,
Yeah.
and then you have to have like Blaster Blade the Vanguard. So it's kind of like a 3 card combo. Okay, you can have one in the red line, right? So it's a 2 card combo.
Mm.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Alpha Knights is a 1 card combo. Like at any other point of the game, all right, you can draw into it. Okay, I go into Alpha Knights, and then you get your whole thing out. So it's like it's different. Heart Lure as well. It's basically free. You ride up, you get two
Yeah.
of the orders. 2 of the orders get you
Huh.
more cards. More cards get you more soul charge, and then you just go. Your ride line gets you the 3rd order as well. So you don't
Yeah.
even have to worry about damaging it because it picks it up from the damage zone. Like these kind of like safety nets is good for beginners, but it's bad for a game if it wants to incentivize people to put more effort and more time into it.
And if we need to have like an Elf Knight and a hard lose situation, I think it's safe to say we can implement Hill Guardian to standard. That way, we'll slow down the game a lot. Because like for late game, you can't use it anymore, right? Just a 15k shield.
I don't think Heal Guardians are going to be all that impactful in standard. In fact, I think Heal Guardians
Mm.
are actually going to make it significantly harder for the lower tier decks to play. Since currently a lot of the decks in standard, at least all the meta decks right now, it's very common for them to
Mhm.
play attackers and boosters. And so let's say you're going second. You ride grade 1, you attack, you pass. Your opponent goes grade 2, and then they slam a full board, and you're staring down at 18k columns. And yes, the Kill Guardians do help a lot with guarding, but you're staring down 18Ks, which can hit over the Heal Guardian, and now you're staring at, oh boy, I still have to give up 2 or 3. You give up 1 for the Heal Guardian, so you have to give up 1 or 2 more cards from your hand just to not take that much damage, and then you have to do it again on turn 3, where numbers are now significantly higher. But it's not the thing that's gonna save decks.
I think it's going to be a very different game direction. So I understand why it came out in V, but I don't see a reason for it to come out in standard in D. And the reason why is because the games itself is very homogenous because of the existence of the red line and an incentive to stick with the red line. If you introduce Heal Guardians, the games are just going to be grade 3 versus grade 3. The aspects I like about D is that your turn 1, turn 2 is actually very impactful to the rest of the game. So if you eliminate that, then it just, every game becomes very vanilla. I think it works in Premium and it works in V, because in V they incentivize you to play different grade 3s. So you can go into different grade 3s for different Vanguard Rearguard skills, and you can choose Imaginary Gift 1 or Imaginary Gift 2. So there is variation, and you don't want to let your opponent turbo and get to those stacks too early, right? So that's why the Heal Guardian works. Same in Stride format in Premium, because there's strides and because there's so many different interactions. The Heal Guardians are nice because it slows down the game and lets both players be able to pick more options. But in Standard, the end game is very same. So slowing down the game doesn't change the game.
That's a very good point. I think the game is completely different. Grade 1, grade 2, if you can't play it, just like Stride deck that's too slow, right? To go to face like a hard Lulu or offline situation. Bob Saga is insane. Holy shoot. Early game, late game, there's just nothing, no end to it.
I think Bob Saga has the issue that a lot of like premium decks have, and it's that you might have a good early game in terms of being aggressive, but your defensive value is actually very weak, and people tend not to take advantage of that against Bob Saga. Bob Saga, especially if they're going second, they'll add 2 0 shield cards to their hand, and they'll discard 1 for grade 2 to ride up, but they're still stuck with 1 0 shield card in their hand most of the time. And you can prey on the fact that they have to run a decent number of 0 shield cards in their deck to aggress them early, and people don't really take that much advantage over that, as well as and that's the same thing in Premium. A lot of decks in Premium, you end up getting a grade 3 clogged quite often because you do have to run a decent amount of grade 3s to 1 stride, and 2 be able to actually ride to grade 3 to make it to your stride turns. And I think that's something that people don't really take advantage of in Premium and in V. But it's also way harder to take advantage of in Premium because giving your opponent Counterblast in Premium is much scarier than it is in Standard. Right, where Standard, a Counterblast usually means 1 extra attack or 1 extra card draw. In Premium, 1 Counterblast could mean, oh, you just instantly die on the spot, like Magnolia Loop, or it could just mean absolutely nothing because the deck doesn't use Counterblast, like Victor, right? So it's really scary to give your opponents damage in Premium, but in Standard, I think people just aren't taking advantage of understanding how decks are played and taking advantage of that.
You're still waiting for the day where I can ride to Seraph Snow, and then try to Global Avalanche, and then lock, and then pure upgraded right to pure life. I'm still waiting for that day, but I wish.
No. Yeah, I think Premium is just really hard to design because they kind of wrote themselves into a corner. There's just too many different strong effects, which is interesting as a Premium player, but it's also very challenging to like. I understand it's challenging. Like, think about, there's like 2 strides in the game that copy the Heart's ability, Crystal Luster and the clone for Shadow Paladin, which obviously opens up a lot more playability with their clan's grade 3s, right? With Keter, with Royal Paladin, Shadow Paladin, and in Keter. We don't have the same treatment for other clans because obviously I think there will be a lot more broken, obnoxious stuff that can happen. But because cards are given unequally, it's very hard to
Yeah.
design.
So
course.
I did want to mention that I think so I do like Bushiroad's approach of just ignore premium in terms of uh designing cards, but they're not taking advantage. They're not actively trying to ban or balance stuff afterwards, and that's my big issue. Most, at least I feel most card games just don't care that much about their internal format when they're designing cards. They just say, okay, if something breaks, we'll ban it. We'll limit it. We'll do something on the ban list to deal with it. But in Bushiroad's case, what's happening is they print something, it breaks the external format, and then they just don't care. They just won't acknowledge it.
Yeah, very sad. So many people are hoping we get like a better ban list or at least a right deck or some sort of generator, right?
I do wish the
All
ban
right.
list was a little bit more inclusive in terms of the hits. I do think there are a couple decks that need to go. I can name all the infinite loop
Yeah.
decks right now that need to go, but unfortunately, complaining won't get us anywhere.
What other infinite loops are there you've been cooking with?
It's not me that's been cooking. I'm just walking around and
Oh,
listening to
in
people.
general, all right.
Yeah, like for example, other than the like, so we have the Gold's Infinite Loop, we have the Alden deck out, Genesis, Cristiano's deck out, and Mega Colony. You have two different Great Nature Infinite Loops. One of I learned of today, and I don't know exactly how it works of, but it's pretty funny. But again, the thing is, the Great Nature Infinity Loops are it's just nigh impossible. And if you ban Bonaspati, none of this would be an issue for most of them. Anyways, uh, there's a couple others I can think of. There's a Neonectar Infinite Loop. There's the Tachikaze Stand Loop. There's a Nubatama Stand Loop. Greedon Infinite with Eve, but that's really, really bad. I've been trying to look into Dark States with Spike Brothers, trying to see if there's a way you can go infinite with Rising Nova, copying two Great Threes.
Oh yeah, that's also a thing. The V card. I think V card is really broken, actually. Even until now.
V cards are extremely broken. I think the really interesting format to try to play is playing premium, but without any cards printed in the V era. So no V era, no premium collections. You can play D, you can play OG, you can play, but just no gifts. None of those stupid V cards that are absolutely broken, like Negger Bones. No big Obadiahs, bad bounties, nothing like that.
I think I watched a video about Deck Flare was testing about how with that format. I think it'll be interesting.
I believe Deck
See.
Flare was the one who
Yeah.
was testing it. And it was really interesting.
Yeah. Any last take you guys wanna share, maybe?
Ban Grand Blue and subscribe to Jody and Entropy. Jody, I don't actually know your YouTube name is. I think it's like Lock the Vanguard or something.
Yeah, Lock the Vanguard LTV channel.
TV. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe and also subscribe to
I should be
Entropy.
the one saying that.
No.
Thank you, thank
Look. I'm the guest. I will say it.
Yeah, thank you for your time today, Entropy, and hopefully you
Thank
guys are able to make it in Vancouver, I guess, next tournament.
Oh, he's made it already. So I'll take
Mine
all
is
the
on
luck I can get.
You'll be fine.
mine is on VCS on March in Indonesia, and hopefully I can top and I get to see you guys in the world.
Oh, that'd be great.
Thank you so much. Any last words, Entropy? No?
Yeah, I think vote with your wallet. I think that's a big one.
Vote with your wallet.
Vote with your wallet. Yeah, I think Bushiroad, like most companies, follow the money, and there just isn't enough money going to the premium products that they print. It just needs to make
Yeah.
sense, guys. We just need to make it make sense for them, and the money will make them do the thing. You know, not talking won't do business. It won't keep the lights up for them. They're a small company, guys. Buy the deck sets, buy premium collection, move the needle, help them out,
Move the needle.
and it'll happen. Like I think it's definitely a budget thing why they're cutting premium in BCS, because it costs a lot. It costs a lot less for them to run Buddy Fight than it costs for them to run premium.
Actually, the cost is the same. There's not much difference.
No, because they have to buy the plane ticket, bro, and they have to buy the trophy and stuff. Yeah, the plane ticket costs more than the playmat. Buddy Fight instead has one playmat for first place.
I mean, to
There's
be
not
fair,
a top 8 playmat.
they could just give
Look,
unsponsored
look,
invites.
eight rubber mats cost more than one rubber mat. It's just the math, man.
Okay, you know what? You're right there. I can't say much to that.
It's right there, right? So that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Vote with your wallet, and
Yeah.
then things will follow. Right
Mm.
now, I think it's definitely a challenging time for Bushi,
Yeah.
for stores to hold premium and to run premium
Mm.
and to
Mm.
tell people to try
Yeah.
premium. There's just not enough incentive. So
Incentives,
roll with your
yes.
wallet. If you like the game, support the game, and that's just my thoughts. Because at the end of the day, things are not free. So if
Yeah,
you
at the
love
end of
the
the day, it's
game,
a card
then
game,
help
right?
them out. Yeah, they got to make money, and they have to make money to support it. So that's my take on it. I don't express it enough, but I hope people consider it.
No, totally, it makes perfect sense, man. Vote with your wallet. All right, thank you so much, guys, for your time. Hopefully, you guys enjoy being talking about this.
Yeah, thanks for
Take care.
having me.
No, thank
I'll
you for
see you.
having
I'll
us.
see you at
Thank you.
Worlds.
I'll see you
Hopefully.
at
Bye
Worlds.
See you at
bye.
Worlds. All right, let's do this.
I'll see you at Worlds. You better make it.
All right, I'll try my best, man.
Wait, Jody, did your
No, I
mic
think
cut?
you got cut out. You got cut out, bro.
No.
He was so happy about it too.
He's so happy, not like this. This is going into the recording, by the way.
Straight to the end of the video, blooper reel.
All right. I don't think he can hear us either. I think I have to shoot a message.
Okay, let me do the best Jody impression. Oh my god, my audio's not working. Let me check my chat right now. Ah.
Will he notice?
Yeah, it's not working, man.
While we have this time to hijack his video, are you excited for Vancouver?
Oh, Vancouver is exciting times. Honestly, I was not as interested in going because I just don't think it's as value because I don't get to play 2 days of Vanguard. I don't think Buddy Fight format is real Vanguard, so
Yo.
that's that.
I
But
agree.
I don't know why they decided to do that. Honestly, it's a little bit frustrating. As they
Can you see me?
Yes, you're back.
Oh, he's alive.
All right. Oh my god. No. Okay, sorry. Vancouver format. Sorry, Buddy Fight format.
We were just hijacking your video because your mic
No,
died.
what did you say just now?
I know.